Okay, perfect. So we are ready to rock and roll. So thank you all for joining this call today. It's very, very exciting to me, especially because I'm seeing a lot of really great changes that are being applied to my liberal arts courses, and INFT123 in particular. So just to provide you with a little bit of background here, we are attempting to make INFT123 Social 105 an easier way for students to accurately part in 2 classes, but in under 1 form. So essentially, basically, just students can have sort of a 3-credit course experience inside of 1 course shell so that they're not having to go out into 2 different classes and participate in discussion in 2 different places, et cetera, because students are becoming overloaded with the idea that they are participating in 3 classes for their first term. So, as you will see right now, you are taking a look at the brand new INFT123 course shell. And you'll see here it is named differently. It is named INFT123/Social 105 Computing Skills/Career Development 1. So first off, this may provide a little bit of a shock to your students because on their schedule they will be put into both INFT123 and Social 105. They will see 2 different classes on their schedule. So you'll see a standard announcement that I've added into the course. This will be in all sections. It says, hello students, welcome to INFT123/Social 105. You may see INFT123 and Social 105 separately on your schedule. However, you will satisfy both courses here within this INFT123 Social 105 combined course. You will earn 2 separations in this course, one for INFT123 and another for Social 105. The Social 105 components are labeled so that you will know which components count towards the other course. So at first this may sound a bit confusing, however it really is quite easy. What we have is 3 Social 105 elements embedded into this INFT123 course. And the great thing is that students will not be double dipping, so to speak. The Social 105 elements will have their very own column in the grade book. The elements count 33%, they're weighted evenly, so all 3 of those will just drop into the Social 105 category. The grades in that Social 105 category will then be entered into Banner by the instructor as their Social 105 grade. Now that I've gone over that, which I'll touch on in a bit, I'm going to go over some of the brand new things that we'll be experiencing in this course. The first thing to note is that we have removed 3 elements from the class. The first is Outlook. The reason that we've removed the Outlook syntax is because Microsoft 365 is providing students with a very, very different view of how Outlook works. So, as you all know, we have the Outlook web app for those of you that work from home. For those of us here in the office, we have Outlook desktop. And the SimPath for Outlook was more or less teaching the desktop version, which very few students are actually using. So instead of teaching Outlook, we're going to go over a bit of Microsoft 365, which will be really important as we've heard from student services and as well as the IT department that Microsoft 365 is one of the areas that our students need the most help with. Additionally, if you're teaching this term, you have seen that Windows was optional. Now we're just taking it out altogether. It was teaching Windows 7, which was a bit outdated at the time. We've now moved to Windows 8, which is different, and yet again, we've moved to Windows 10, which is similar to Windows 7, but we just want to take away that component as many students may not even be using the Windows interface or operating system. They may be using an Apple iOS. They may be utilizing a Chromebook. So at this time, we've just determined that Windows is not incredibly important for the students and their overall success in our classroom here. And then additionally, I'm getting ready for a roar of applause. GDP has actually been removed from INFT123 starting in November and going forward. The reason for the removal of GDP is because we really just need the students to focus on what will help them to be successful throughout their career. And GDP was offering us as students, or excuse me, as instructors and administration, a lot of trouble. So if you're hearing me say this, I'm sure that you're shaking your head right now in agreement with me. So in this way, there is not going to be a keyboarding element in the course. If you truly believe in keyboarding as of a student's success, there are a few different free typing options that you can provide to students as a supplemental resource, or perhaps as a suggested activity that they can complete. There's freetypingtest.com as well as a few different others. Feel free to please post that as a supplemental resource if you do believe in the value of that activity. There's nothing, just because we're taking out GDP does not mean that you cannot provide students with the opportunity to work on their keyboarding. It's just a matter of we're really trying to streamline the first experience as well as this course, and it was really causing a lot of heartache and frustration on behalf of the students for only a very small portion of their grade. So overall, this is a student services play where we're helping to make the student experience much easier. Okay, so next piece, I touched on this a bit earlier. Both the courses are combined now, so we see that in the naming convention, we see that in the banner up at the top, and so just to kind of give you an idea, there are Social 105 modules in week 2 and week 5, and additionally there will be a discussion topic in week 5. So just to give you an idea, we'll go into the week 2 activities area so that you can take a look at how these are embedded in. So your activity is click here to access your assignments. We're adding some of the click here type of verbiage for brand new first-term students that perhaps may not know exactly how to navigate Blackboard yet. So we can see here, discussion, click here to respond. Some students are really in the dark as far as how to access the discussion board. So for the first few weeks, we're just saying click here to respond or click here to access your assignments as an additional way-finding effort. Orientation model here. Students will just click on that to be able to view the material. There is not an assignment associated with it. The students just need to review the material. And since I'm in week 2, let me just point out the SimNet Steps for Success resource. This was a really, really great document created by one of our full-time faculty, Ellen Divins. She did an absolutely amazing job with this document. And so for any of your students that will say, hey, my post-test isn't opening, but I did all the lessons. Well, it's a really great idea to be able to refer them back to this document and show them exactly where they have the error in their ways. So in many cases, it is not completing each piece of the show me, guide me, let me try. And it's so very nicely laid out those 3 different options here so that the students can have a great idea of exactly what they need to do in order to make the post-test open. So I just wanted to point that out really quickly. Okay, so we've seen the Social 105 orientation module. We also have a module in week 5. If we go into the activities area, we have the Student Resources module. Okay, and you'll see previously we have the discussion question for week 5 is the Career Services discussion that came directly out of Social 105. So this is to reach out to the career advisor, which is all that information is based below, and to ask some of the following questions. So it's a very valuable discussion, which is why we kept it succinct as it was in the previous course. But just to kind of show you a little bit of chart as the structuring of the course is concerned. In week 5, we've moved the activities for the discussion solely because this discussion is so long. We didn't want the activities to get sort of bogged down towards the bottom of the course so that students totally missed their activities. Okay. Here is the completion of the Social 105 material. Again, the grade for the Social 105 will just dump right into that Social 105 column, and then it is then your responsibility to enter the student's Social 105 grade into Banner. Let me say that it is possible for students to fail INFT123 and pass Social 105, or vice versa. Students are truly completing 2 different classes in this one course shell. So it is important to note that they can, sort of fail the one and pass the other. That being said, the Social 105 course you've seen is quite finished, so students truly should have no issues completing that small bit of coursework in order to pass the Social 105 component. So let's move along here to take a look at some of the Office 365 material that's been added to the course. You'll see that week 5, which used to be Windows, has now been translated into Microsoft 365 week. We have an introduction to the Microsoft OneDrive, which of course is the cloud-based storage solution that is provided to students as part of Microsoft 365. It's a really great opportunity for students to store any of their assignments up on the cloud so that it can be accessed from any computer. So let's say, for instance, if a student is working on their portfolio project for an INFT123 or for any other class, they can then store it to the OneDrive and then edit it from any different computer by accessing the SkyDrive, which is browser-based. So it used to be called SkyDrive, so you may see SkyDrive up at the top here, but it is OneDrive, and they are at times used simultaneously. So there's a video so that students can really understand the need for this type of technology. And then additionally, we have an awesome activity that's related to the OneDrive. We have students actually navigating and logging into the Microsoft 365 login portal page. This is what it will look like. We're going to have them click on the OneDrive application block as outlined here. We'll have them write a 2-paragraph summary about why SkyDrive is useful. And then we'll also have them upload a document to the SkyDrive. So it's going to actually have them use that technology so that they're more comfortable with it when it comes time to actually manipulate their documents and things like that. Let's take a look here. One other very exciting development is that in week 7, we have removed the need to fit the portfolio project to the e-portfolio. Yahoo! We've been waiting to get rid of this, which is really great. So it just provides just this other extensive layer of student questions, of frustration, of having to post the output to upload it to. So we're just very happy to see this go. You'll still see the e-portfolio in the upper level courses, and of course, and really it does have a great value. But for our first term students, it was just more trouble than it's worth in many ways. So we're going to have them upload their portfolio project directly to the classroom. And so what that means for you is that you can actually grade and provide commentary right within the gradebook, like a normal assignment. So no more copy pasting, trying to remember, having 3 windows open. It's going to be much easier for you as far as your grading flow is concerned. Otherwise, the course is pretty much the same as how we left it. Of course, those are a lot of major changes, but as far as anything else is concerned, we have still have everything in place as it was. For anybody that hasn't seen it, we've moved it for this term, but in week 7.5, we removed the oral component for the portfolio project reflection, as well as for the portfolio project itself. Again, we're just very much trying to streamline the first student experience, trying to really have them focus on what they need to focus on, which is not the technology. It's really just getting the material, trying to synthesize it and understand it. So to move back to some of the particulars as far as pairing the course, well, you'll see here that we have a regular SimNet button and not a SimNet/GDP button. That is because GDP is no longer a part of the course. Can you tell my excitement? So we have the course information here, which has been adjusted. I have adjusted the ISBN that you will use to pair your class with. This is the ISBN that you will utilize to pair, not the ISBN that you are used to. If you use the ISBN that you are used to, it will show the GDB button, which we do not want to populate because it will just be confusing for students. So when you use this ISBN noted here, it will only populate the SIMnet button. Important to note. Otherwise, everything is pretty much the same as how we left it, like I said. Really just want to focus on, again, streamlining the student experience, really making them having to focus on the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, getting into discussion, using that first term reflection rubric, and sort of helping them to just explore those smaller pieces as opposed to having them learn everything in one shot. So let's see here. Is there anything else that I should bring up? I believe that is it. So I have gone over all of the points that I have listed, but I'm sure that there are lots of different questions and commentary out in the field. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to your questions, concerns, and comments on the line. Any questions out on the line? This is brand new material, so perhaps you do not have many questions, but just want to make sure everybody has ample time to be able to speak their mind. I do have one question here. How does the My Grades button show to students with the different INFT and SOC grades? Students will see the SOC grade as an assignment within this class. So if they see that they have a 0, then they will know that they have a 0 in the SOC section. That will be one small. If I could just have everybody who's not speaking go on mute, please, I'd appreciate it. Just a little bit loud. Thank you. So the My Grades button will not show students the SOC 105 grade. It will essentially they will not have SOC 105 populated into their Blackboard as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I've been told. So the grades will just basically have to be based on the My Grades category within INFT123, and then just see which assignments are SOC 105 in that SOC 105 category. Contract pay rate, always a great question. So we are looking to increase the pay rate by approximately $200 across the board because of the new SOC 105 nuances, if you will. So since you will have to enter grades in 2 places, we do understand that that is somewhat of an inconvenience for you. However, again, this will be helping our overall retention and success rates. So I do need to run that past Karen one more time, but as our last check, you were discussing increasing the rate of pay $200 across the board. Therefore, a 40-student class in INFT 123 would then earn $2,000 per 40 students. Any questions out there? You can go ahead and chat them to me, or you can unmute yourself and let me know. Well, I suppose one thing that I should show you is the new grade breakdown. So this is actually going to be a really great opportunity to show you exactly how to retrieve the grade breakdown in each of your classes, since I do receive that question sometimes. So in order to retrieve the full grade breakdown for your class, like perhaps if you need to change your supplemental syllabus or something along those lines, or perhaps you're teaching a new class and you're not certain of what the breakdown is, you click the overall chevron, you'll column information, and you'll scroll down to the very bottom. It's important, incredibly important in fact, to note that you absolutely cannot change these values. This is merely for your own information take a look and see exactly what goes into your grade breakdown, but it is not the individual instructor's prerogative to change these percentages. However, this is an awesome tool for you to be able to determine exactly what the grade breakdown in your class is to ensure that your supplemental syllabus is correct. So, the weight percentage for INFT123 class will be 10% for the assignments, 25% for discussion, which has been boosted. We really want to make sure that students are getting into discussion, that they understand the value of discussion in their online classes, to ensure that they are being as proactive and having as much dialogue as possible. SimNet has once again been dropped to 50%, so the SimNet category will be comprised of the 3 Sim paths for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. To reiterate, we have removed the Windows and Outlook Sim paths. A portfolio project will remain 15%. The portfolio project is really, honestly, as you all know, it's nothing too strenuous. It's a great opportunity for the students to actually utilize the skills that they have learned within the Sim path, as well as to put some of their work and thoughts into action. So the portfolio project will remain at 15%. You'll notice that the Social 105 category is not a part of this weight percentage. That is because the Social 105 grade will in no way impact the INFT123 grade. It is a column in the grade book, but that column is not tied to the overall grade for INFT123, so that students aren't quote-unquote double dipping, or on the other side of the coin, getting dinged 2 times for work that they may not have completed. Have another question here regarding, have the textbooks changed? Is there a text for Soc? No, the textbooks have not changed. Students will no longer be receiving from the bookstore for INFT123. The Office 2013 book is directly right in the course. They access it right through VitalSource. So that is, that's their textbook for INFT123, and Social 105 did not have 105 did not have a textbook. It was just the My Foundational Lab piece, which again we have not brought over into INFT123. Another question regarding Social 105. Out of the 3 assignments, students are only graded on the week 5 discussion and assignment. That is correct. Like I said, we are not attempting to replace the workload of a full Social 105 and put it into INFT123. We're just taking those 2 to 3 grades and dropping them into that category so that they can obtain a grade for Social 105. We're not attempting to have the students slack off on their work colloquially. We're really just attempting to make this first term experience easier for students, because in many ways, even though it's a 2-credit course for INFT123 and a 1-credit course for Social 105, they were truly 2 courses of coursework, which was very frustrating, very overwhelming for students, especially when we were having them also take an English 101 or a COM 115 or perhaps an English 099. So it was very strenuous for those students. So we're attempting to just make this a traditional 3-credit load course so that students can still learn the material, but they're not becoming overwhelmed. We may be seeing some curriculum changes come down the line here. So this combined Social 105 and INFT123 may be how we utilize this going forward. That is my understanding at this time, but we will receive more solidified instructions later this week. However, for those of you teaching in November, this is the class that you will be teaching from. If there are no more questions, and if there are, again, please feel free to chat me. But so what are your overall impressions of the course? Are you excited? Do you think that it'll be more streamlined? Are you perhaps disappointed to see any of the SimPass or GDP go? Give me some of your feedback. Okay, some feedback here that this will help both our first-term students. I do agree with that. First term has really been a struggle, and those of you that teach first term, which all of you do since you're teaching INFT123, but those of you who teach first term in your subject matter areas, again, you see the struggles that these students go through, especially in COM 115, taking INFT123 and Social 105 all at the same time. It's a massive workload, so we're really trying to mirror that traditional 2-credit course load that students come in with. Got another vote for liking it. I like it. We have a late join. So yes, to reiterate, GDP is being removed from the course. The overall is gone. And so if you are joining late, it is very, very important to ensure that you view the instructors only area of the course, because we have a very important note here. We are changing the ISBN to which we pair the course with to GP leaving the course overall. We'll see that the SIMNet button is what formerly was SIMNet GDP is now just SIMNet. And when you pair with this ISBN here, you will not get that additional GDP button, which is very important as it may cause confusion to students. Any feedback, questions, concerns? Perfect. Well, I do appreciate your time today. I am fully and completely certain that the changes that you are seeing be made in this INFT123 course, you will see echoed in other areas. I have recently just redesigned English 099 and English 101, which is a very much more student-friendly approach, back to the basics, easy eyes, fun to click through. And for those of you that may be wondering about COM 115, yes, that is next up. So basically, I've redesigned all of our courses, all of these liberal arts courses within the last approximately 1 month. So I'm going to give myself a couple weeks to focus on getting the November session off the ground, and then I'll turn my attention to COM 115. I do know very much that it needs some tender love and care, so I will be happy to provide that to that course, as I do really very much believe in its importance and its overall necessity to our students. Well, if there are no other questions or concerns at this time, I'd like to thank you all for joining today. Again, this is Lauren Hackford, your program manager. If you do have any questions, concerns, commentary after this has ended, please do feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email. I'm always on Skype, so there are many different ways that you can reach me. Please always, if you ever have a question, don't ever suffer in silence. Reach out, ask a question. I do try very, very hard to get back to you earlier than 24 hours, especially when it is during the week. So I'm always here for you, and please never hesitate to reach out. Thank you all so much for your time today, and I hope that you have an awesome rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you soon.
But I would just communicate that, don't stress about it.